Hey everyone, Mr. Kimson here, and today I want to talk about the least squares regression line. So you've been looking at line of best fits and then drawing them by hand, but you've probably run into the problem of it's quite difficult to do accurately, and the answers even may vary slightly between the ones you've been doing and the answers in the textbook because, well, if you're doing it by hand and trying to calculate the points manually, then it becomes very difficult, right? So we developed this method called the least squares regression line, which is a more of a systematic approach to doing this. It's not just like trying to do it by observation. We actually have a formulaic way of doing it. Now, the actual formula for the equation of the line is out of the scope of the course. But again, just some intuition behind it. It utilizes a lot of things we've been talking about, like correlation coefficients, sample means, and standard deviations as well. So that's the idea behind the least squares regression line. Just as a visual thing, if you look at this scatter plot over here, you can see that we've got all these different points represented by the blue dots, right? But the errors, so to speak, the distances away from the actual point and the line of best fit, that can be thought of like an error. And the least squares regression line aims to minimize the squared distances between those blue points and the line of best fit. Now, the reason why we square them is because if you think about it, this would be a negative value, right? And this here would be a positive value because it's above. So negative value for below, positive for above. And so the reason why we square it is because if we're thinking about distances, we need a positive value of that, right? So that's why we square those, yeah? Okay, so I go to this website over here. You can play along at home as well. You can see that these dots represent the scatter plot. And you can see as I move them around, the equation of the line that's being generated is changing, right? So right now it's about half, but then you can try and arrange it in a fashion that gets you something more like +1, right? And there's a y-intercept that's being created as well. And of course, I can have something with a negative gradient if I move my scatter plot values along accordingly. So you can see, like, it's the usual way that you would do this by looking at how to create this equation of line. Even though it's not going through these points, we have a method to generate that, right? Okay, so that's just some intuition behind it.